And what you can see behind me here over my left shoulder is this object that has become a sort of an iconic representation for all that is not yet fully understood about the Nazi technology, the advanced technology, that there is a lot of evidence that is gradually being accumulated by Igor Witkowski and others, that during the Second World War the Nazis were experimenting with things that even now, 60 years later, we might not fully understand in the public domain. And a little later on in this video you'll be seeing us talking with Igor in detail about the evidence that he's amassed to suggest very strongly to many other researchers that the Nazis were doing something very, very strange, and that this project here, which has become known as the Nazi Bell, may well have been the most top secret of all their top secret projects.
Few people were aware of it, since it remained a secret for many years. It was an anti-gravity UFO-like saucer craft that many believe could travel across time. This mysterious Nazi Bell is known to have served several purposes, including helping the Third Reich reach space, visit the Moon and Mars, and even distant star systems.
It describes various secret projects of the Third Reich, but the most important part of it is the one that deals with anti-gravity. It was something that looked just like from another world. It was so shocking and presented such a new picture of the German research in the Second World War, something that was breaking all the known rules as far as the research is concerned. Such a shield, such a cylinder, which was covering certain rotating cylinders inside. It was very, at first glance, it was simple, but the effects of this of its operation were very complex and impossible to explain by an entire team of specialists who was dedicated to the explanation of this device in the 1960s, for example.
This is purportedly possible through the unexplainable UFO-like gravity-defying propulsion system, a cutting-edge technology not available to the masses. The development of this technology was ordered by Adolf Hitler and would play as an essential part in the secret space program initiated by the Nazis. When Hitler noticed that the walls were starting to close on him, he pumped even more resources and manpower into his Wunderwaffe, or wonder weapons, to accelerate the process. This was all in an attempt to radically change the course of the war. This weapon is the Glocke, the bell, and was part of the long list of Wunderwaffen that the Nazis developed towards the end of World War II.
It appeared that the main aim of this device was to accelerate heavy ions, namely of mercury, and spin them at very high angular speeds in order to observe or to create some strange effects, some strange energies produced by this device.
If these black budget technologies were released in the world and properly funded, in a generation or even less, we would see the complete end of fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, and even nuclear energy that would be replaced by Tesla electromagnetism, fusion cold, anti-gravity and anti-hydrogen systems, and much more. This would remove national boundaries and limits and eliminate the need for control structures of any kind, including governments.
And with that, I just have two more words to say. Obama out.
Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take.
If these black budget technologies were released in the world and properly funded, we also enter a new era of travel in the universe. through which we as human beings move beyond the planetary boundaries and our solar system, exchange technology and experience with the civilizations of the universe.
Is it possible that Tesla developed a time viewing or time travel technology, and that he became aware of these developments?
However, few people know that Nikola Tesla had tapped into a source of unlimited energy and was on the verge of handing the people of this planet a gift of free energy until the powers that be had stopped him in his tracks.
One of the big questions is, who is Tesla? Is he, in a sense, an avatar, an enlightened being that comes to the Earth to help humans? No one really knows exactly what's going on, but I think all great artists, and Tesla saw himself as an artist, feel that they're instruments of a higher purpose, and Tesla certainly felt that he was working along those lines.
There is an agenda for humanity. There is a plan. And in every generation, whatever power it is that's behind the plan sends to Earth certain specific souls who are by birth more inclined and able to be receptors to the higher knowledge.
The most important thing Tesla required in order to accomplish his plan was funding. He was an inventor, not a businessman. So during his lifetime, he came across various hurdles that would hinder his progress towards the future he envisioned for humanity. Even so, Tesla pursued his dreams until his final hour. Not only he wished to give free, wireless energy to the world, he also wanted to establish long-lasting peace on Earth. For this goal alone, he designed the perfect plan. He would engineer a weapon so powerful that its energy bursts would bring down a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes at a distance of 200 miles from a defending nation's border, and will cause armies to drop dead in their tracks.
The concept of ion beam is that it's essentially a high-energy laser that is designed to rapidly heat up the target that it's aimed at. We're talking about aircraft, drones, missiles. Anything that could launch an attack on a city could be literally destroyed in the sky by ion beam.
And so the idea that Tesla might have worked on an anti-gravity device is very plausible to me.
Nevertheless, it confirmed that such an explanation, that such effects could indeed take place, and it could be an anti-gravity device.
After more than 15 years of researching archives in different countries, Igor Witkowski, a Polish journalist and author specializing in the military technology and history of World War II, published Prawda o Wunderwaffe, a book that discussed Die Glocke at length.
There are reports of the witnesses, I mean these prisoners of war, SS officers, and one of them described this, that this device, the Glocke, the bell, was surrounded by a circle of cables.
Prawda o Wunderwaffe would later become a huge success after British military journalist and author Nick Cook quoted him in his own book, The Hunt for Zero Point, Inside the Classified World of Anti-Gravity Technology. It has since been reviewed by lots of writers and researchers. In fact, other writers like Joseph P. Farrell later associated it with Nazi occultism, anti-gravity, and free energy research. So, what did Igor Witkowski, Nick Cook, Joseph P. Farrell, and many other writers and researchers discovered about the Nazi bell?
The Glocke, the bell, was almost finished by the Germans. It was carried out in Lower Silesia or Niederschlesien in Germany. And the device worked, but they only managed to finish the phase of trials. The industrial phase was not even started, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there was some place which I don't know.
In Witkowski's book, he wrote about the discovery of Die Glocke through some transcripts from the Polish archives. He wouldn't have been able to access this document without one of his Polish intelligence contacts. Although he was not allowed to make copies of these documents, he was allowed to transcribe them. What he found in these transcripts shocked him. It was from an interrogation of a captured former Nazi SS officer, Jakob Sporenberg.
I met this guy in 1986, around 1987, I'm not sure. His name was Władysław Włóczak, or Wiesław Włóczak, excuse me. And what I saw on his table, it was really a world apart. I just saw analyses, various materials, diagrams, all various publications on the specific subjects involved, and it was just very serious stuff. It was, you know, he was talking about it normally, and it wasn't any secret then. Maybe later, maybe now it is a secret, I don't know, but then it wasn't a secret even. And he published even several articles about it as a member. I don't know if he introduced himself as a member of the General Staff, civilian employee in fact, but what I can repeat shortly is that as a military journalist I had contacts with some people, and I know that the phenomenon that you're talking about is real, and it's something serious, and this, contrary to appearances, is treated very seriously by several institutions. I know that.
Witkowski relates in his book the presence of a strange bell that measured 4.5 meters in height by 2.5 wide. Its shape is similar to that of a large bell. That is also where it got its name. According to his description, it was made of an extremely durable metal alloy, covered with ceramic, and on the inside it housed 2 counter-rotating cylinders that contained a violet liquid with a consistency similar to that of mercury. The journalist identified this liquid as serum 525, and it was also stored in a 1-meter-long thermos capsule coated in lead. Other researchers added components such as light metals, Leichmetall, thorium, and beryllium peroxides, elements commonly used as fuel in nuclear reactors. From Cook's description, Die Glocke was revealed as a strong radiation-emitting craft. The radiation is released upon activation. And the effect? A bell-shaped machine capable of potentially destroying everything and everyone close to it. After all, it was designed to be able to pierce time and space. Scientists were reported to have suffered from a very terrible case of vertigo. They would later die because the levels of radiation that the bell emitted when it was activated were just dangerously high.